Okay guys, we start soon, huh? Yeah, like maybe 10 minutes. Let me get set up. Then we can run build some pages, and then we move on to doing a little bit of Java Spring Boot. Yeah. Cat cocaine, come on, cat cocaine. Okay, guys. Oh, let's get cracking, man. Let's get cracking. Okay. So what we gotta do? I'm gonna say good morning, up. Good morning. Okay, let's get some. Okay, guys, we're gonna get started right now. Let me see if I have something you guys don't gotta need to see. Okay. Guys. Yeah. Let's get some coding work. Let's get some work going. Hope you guys can see me, I think. Yeah. Hope you guys can see me. Yeah. So what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna close out this chat first. So what we're gonna do is so yesterday doing something with Angular. I'm doing a simple ecom project, and I'm trying to use all the concepts I've been learning. So working with signals, services. I've been playing around with the HTTP client. Then we also have component libraries. So I was trying also use material Angular, try to understand how everything works. So that's what I'm doing right now. I have something simple, dynamic page routes, the same thing that we have in Next.js, where you have the square brackets and something dynamic. So there's something similar in Angular. I've been playing around with those. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Yep. Yeah. So I'm using Nuvo for this one. So okay, I'm gonna have that here. I'm gonna have the star right here. Then we have, this is what I was actually doing. As you can see, it's using some material Angular type things right here. Yeah. So there's some people actually adding test categories. This is not okay. Oh my goodness, what the fuck are these people doing? Yeah, there's someone definitely doing some tests, and they added these categories right here, because yesterday when I was testing I only had these ones. So there's someone who's been testing and adding these categories without images. New category SSD, testing category. Look at this some developer testing all these. And I'm probably, if I can delete these ones, do they have an endpoint to delete? Because Platform to API. So products, delete. I need one to delete. This is for getting product. Get a single product. Create a product. Delete a product. Okay, I'm gonna delete these ones through. I'm gonna delete them right now. I'm using Postman. I'm going to delete them. Why? Okay, so for me to delete them, I also need to, okay, so we're going to go to the Postman. Don't do me like that, man. So I'm going to go to the category card, and I'm gonna do so these are signals. That's why I'm doing that. Then I'm going to say .id so that I can delete them. Okay, so as you can see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So I'm gonna delete all these ones to 10. Come on, I just need the waitlight client. See, Postman are playing around the this guard, this guard. Yep, so we're gonna do a simple post request on this one. Come on, I think I copied. Gonna hit the delete. So it takes a path per row. So all the way from 6. 7. Why are they not getting deleted? Or is the API cached or something? It's probably cached. Okay, anyways, I'ma just ignore that so that we can actually get some work done. If I keep on checking these ones out, I won't be able to do anything. Okay, so I'm going to do a component where that is going to allow me to render products on a certain category. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Okay, I would love to have some products here. So for example, clothes, nuevo, and maybe just two categories down here, and then okay, I know what I need to do. So first of all, we're gonna get rid of this one, and I'm going to create a new component. I'm going to call it product section. So okay, products home section or something. So I'm going to say ng generate ng, usually and angular generate component. I'm going to put it in components products home section. Okay, so I'm going to jump into home section. So what I want to do in home section is actually, so I'm gonna have that one right here. So I'm gonna go to the home page, which is here. I'm going to my template, and I'm going to go below that. I'm going to go to app home section. Okay, so obviously we gotta import that home section. Okay, I like my imports nicely structured like that. Okay, so if we go there to home section, you'll see we have a home section working right there, which is cool. And then what we gotta do, I'm going to have I don't know if this one is gonna work, cause I don't know, I'm not sure. Yeah, it doesn't definitely work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say gap wait, how can I have a component taking a class name, and then I possibly guess we're gonna take it using an input. So I'm going to say class input, no, not required, so it's gonna be string. So we're gonna have that, and then we're gonna extend and use it here. I'm gonna have my section here, class oh yeah, I gotta do that. Okay, So this one is going to allow me to go back to why didn't type going to allow me, because if you can see it, okay, why is it not being seen right here? I don't know, it's probably being seen. Let me just show you. Hello from home section component, we have right there, right? So I can say class version top 6. Does it work? Oh, definitely it does. It's not crazy, actually, it's just logical. I expected it to work. So the different types of input that we're gonna expect at this point will be the category that we want to fetch items from, and the number of categories, the number of items that we want to render. No, but I'm just going to have something. So I'm going to home section right here, and I'm gonna say category ID. I'm saying dot required, okay? So with dot required, it seems it will always be there, so you don't have to have a default for that. So we're gonna have our category ID, and so with this input, what we're going to have is the category that we want. Okay, so what I'm going to use is category service. So I'm going to get the endpoint where we do that, and so get product by category. Pay-v1 categories ID products. Actually, it's like that, simple. So fetch categories, category item. So as simple as that. So we're going to go back to here, and then we're going to say API is equals to inject. So we're going to inject the category service, and then we're going to say category products is equals to it's to signal from RxJS this dot API dot fetch category items I'm not familiar with this one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask here. This is the fastest for me to than going to look for a YouTube video. I think I can get like I get an error. What does the error say? Category ID is required. If I could possibly copy this, it would be fucking great. I cannot remember the shortcut. Is required input and does not have a value in this context. Input. So we're gonna wait for it to give us some money. Yeah. Okay, finally I think I got it. So we're gonna go back here and we're gonna do the necessary. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have a h2. It's going to tell us about these ones, and obviously we're gonna use sorry for doing this, but yeah. This one is will be products. I'm gonna call that. I'm gonna select the first one. I'm gonna say dot category dot name. Yep, it's not the best way to do it, but should I have done this one on from the parent right here? No, because I would not have resolved anything at that particular time. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna do a fucking beautiful for loop. I'm gonna do a beautiful for loop out here. So at 4, I'm going to take in product of category products. I'm gonna call that, and then we're gonna say track product dot id. Okay, then we're gonna return what? We're gonna return up product card. Okay, but for now we don't have the product card. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a new component. Components, category products, product card. So some would say ng component products card. So we're gonna have our product card right there. So we're gonna bring in the product card, a product card. So we're gonna wait. Okay. Say input product data is equals input I'm gonna bring an input from Angular core. So once we have our product data, what we want to do is we want to render it because it's required. So we're gonna have our product data. Why am I naming it product data? Because it's easy for someone to have a beautiful div right here, div right there. And so for our product, we're going to have a few things. So if I check how these guys have done their products, you see image price title. So we're gonna have okay. So we're gonna see if we have something on here. Okay, we go to home, product data, like so. Then we have our simple data right there. But because we've not given it what if we're using this on in home section, That's the home section, but we need the home page. So home section, we're gonna say so you can have several of these. I think I'm gonna have 2 and 3 right here. So for the categories, I'm gonna reduce the size of the category. Okay, you know, there's this thing with Next.js where you have to that look good. That looks good if you ask me. So this one is really simple, but we have a lot of data that we can display. So the next thing that we're gonna do is you're gonna do an h3. But this one I'm just going to say price. Then we're going to say the title right here. Okay. Okay. We don't have the currency, so I'm gonna have my own currency right here. Just do that. So maybe one thing I can do is reduce the size. I'm not sure. Yeah, probably make it a little bit better, and tune out the colors. So I can make this ones maybe larger. This one can be font medium, just like normal. Text gray, something like 600, 400, anyway, coming closer, coming down, so that we can highlight. We're really interested in 39 being more visible, being more out there. That's what I'm saying. So we can even do text large for it, but the color is going to make it, to give the hierarchy, text hierarchy. So probably I'm gonna tone it down a little bit more. But yeah, not like the best. So I think I'm gonna go back to what we were doing. Yep. Then I'm bro, what did I press right there? I wish I knew what I pressed. That's interesting actually. So these ones are doing margin bottoms of forevers. I don't want those margin bottoms. Okay. So what am I doing right here? I'm gonna do a class name. Class gap 4. Okay. Class gap 2. They get rid of this margin bottom. Why? I don't want them to handle their own spacing, so that it's easier for me to how did I hope I do that again, and this time I know what I've fucking done. So we're gonna do 6. Bro, it ain't fucking doing nothing. Flex chord. Yep, fucking did something right now. Take it down to 4. Okay. Do I really need the flex color on this one? I don't think so. I don't think so. Let me get rid of the class. Let me just have like so. So what I want to do is, see how when I click on this one, it takes me on this one, the product page. So I want to go to the product page and make sure that whenever we go to that particular product, and then we have like we show products for that particular enemy. Should you have it paginated? Probably, but I'm not gonna do that one right now. So what I'm gonna do is really simple. I go to that particular product page, the dynamic page, then I'm going to do something similar to what I've already done. This home section. So we already have this kind of thing right here. Okay, so the only difference is when I go to this page, product grid, but this page right here, we're gonna have something similar. Okay, so we're gonna inject let me try and do it again. Category products is equals to signal, and then from signal we need to make it what was the name? Interceptor. I don't know. It was inter there's something inter something. So I'm going to say to inter. Nope. Okay. Going to observable. Oh, it's to observable. Observable. So we bring it from RHS inter then we're going to pass in what here we are going to expect some value. We're going to expect some value from reading. Where was that? Because I remember yesterday I was checking on that one. Yeah, here. Nope. Yep, here. How I'm going to read that one. So I'm going to get the route. Route is equals to inject activated route. Provides access to information about a route associated with a component that is loaded in an outlet. So I'm gonna have that. Then what we're gonna do is you're gonna say I'm gonna take this one out there so that I can have something here. So I can say product ID. Let me just say category ID is equals to route. Let me just search here real quick. Get path params in Angular. I'm gonna get probably the latest for real. Let me just read, yeah, let me get it from the docs. Let me see what they say. Okay, they say activated route. Private activated route inject. So I gotta do like private on these. Also this one I think I should do a private because it's only used within there. Yeah. Category ID doesn't need to be private because we can use it private. Yeah, we don't need, yeah. Oh yeah. However, route params to subscribe. Params.subscribe. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, okay, so category ID 2. Okay, so this one is going to return our category ID on them. So then we're going to do products is equals to signal pi dot get product. So what we can do is we can say to observable this dot API dot API dot this dot category ID Okay, let's see how it's used, because if I keep on going like this, I won't. As you can see, it's not returning anything. Okay, if that works, then I don't know anything about Angular, guys. Literally a React dev trying to learn the ways of Angular. You see, I'm using a bit of AI here and there, but the idea is the same. So once we have that, we're going to have our product grid here. So I'm having my section right here. Okay, so I'm do something simple. So I'm not gonna even fucking I'm sorry for cursing, man, guys. I'ma just do this, copy that, bring it on here. I'ma give it a paste. Why didn't I just copy everything on that page actually? Yeah, she just copied everything. Okay. Products. Okay. So what we're gonna where were we? We're in a different page. Oh no, we're in product grid actually. So we're going to do an import of product card like so. Then we're also going to have our class input string. Then we're gonna have our HTML right there. Everything looks beautiful. Then we're gonna have our products gonna reading category. Okay, so what do we have? So I'm gonna just console log products. How do I even fucking log? Then where is the issue? Cannot read on. Am I gonna need this dot route dot paramap So it's not a signal, so we can just say this. So magic. Yes, sir. We have them. It's crazy, but ish. We got them, man. We got them. We got them, man. We got them. Okay. So I just forgot I'm actually streaming. So we have these ones. So what I'm gonna do for this one is obviously we're passing in a class, right? Do we really need to pass in a class for this one? No, because it's a page actually, so we don't need to even have an input for a class. So what we're gonna do is get rid of that, and then we're also going to get rid of this, like so. Then we're good. Then wait. I'm not thinking about the test right now. Yeah, I should have probably skipped the tests. So yep. So for this one, I'm just going to have my own custom class names. I'm gonna say how we're handling these ones. If you go home, there is the styling that is here. I'm gonna just copy this one. Yep. I'm gonna match it. Yep. Yep. That one should make them look better. Everything else is okay, I think. So this one will be product. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say capitalize. So what capitalize does, make sure every letter starts with a capital. So that's it. Okay, that look good. Yep. So something that I want to handle is when I click on this one, it should take me now to an individual product page. Okay. Yeah, the API call takes quite some time, so I should probably add loaders and shit. So if it works for one, it's gonna work for the others. That's how category, it doesn't have anything. So clothes, yeah, we have some clothes. I should have probably git status git add. Add yeah, explore navigations and everything. Yeah, Probably one thing I should be thinking about is how do we call these forms in expo. Those ones I should probably be thinking about. But how many I spent quite some time actually doing these ones, so quite some minutes. So
Chelsea drawing over Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. Physicality. All season, this Arsenal midfield, this whole Arsenal team, to be honest, has been bullying teams for fun. Chelsea said what? That's not happening today. Reece James, he made this Arsenal midfield look like little boys. Declan Rice, where was he? Physically dominated, bro. This guy was just bullying, bulldozing through their whole midfield. You even saw it for the goal. Arsenal don't usually concede set piece goals, bro. But they got dunked on. That physicality, though, it did cost them. Because Caicedo, listen, you can see he was charged. He was pumped up. The first tackles that he was making. This guy was running around that pitch, bro. He was moving like prime Patrick Vieira. But unfortunately for Caicedo, this is not 2004, bro. You can't make tackles like this and not get sent off. Like, clear it. As for Arsenal, though, poor performance. If it wasn't for Marino grabbing this goal, Marino, by the way, he might be the best number 9 at Arsenal. Because this guy in the box, his movement is crazy. Like, the way he thinks as a striker. A top striker looks at that and says, yo, who can I bully? It's going to be Gusto. I'm not going to go to the near post and be on him. Saka, send that back post. I'm going to be there. Gusto, he couldn't compete in the air with him. 1-1. The result isn't that bad for them. The result is fine. Because you're going to a tough away ground. You got a point, even if you didn't play well. I hear that. But on the other hand, you look at the performance, it was not great. And you're up against Chelsea, who were playing with 10 men for like an hour. You expected to create more chances, to dominate more of the game. Like Chelsea were having a lot of counters. The midfield, Zubimendi didn't really play that well. Declan Rice didn't play that well. Eze, Onana.
Coming from university, you're at your first job, and all of a sudden, now is when you're discovering life is very hard without having a car. Now is when you're now discovering, and you're just 1 year from campus. All those years, life was just okay. Now is when you're discovering you cannot live life without a car. And now you're entering into high interest personal debt, or you're entering into traditional debt. You want now, with your first effort,
The best.
okay, guys, I'm gonna pause from here. Let me go get some breakfast and then come back. Get the product page done. I don't know if I'm just gonna get the product page done. Then maybe I'll add to cart button or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably do a service for the cart, and then yeah, once we have everything in cart and the cart functionality is working, then I think I'm gonna call it a day for learning Angular. I think it's yeah, that's it. Then I'm gonna move on to Java because I have also some Java I need to do. I've got some Java I gotta get done too. So yeah, I'm gonna be right back, man. Be right back, guys. Yeah.
we will start small. We will walk through the implementation step by step, ensuring that you understand how to manage form state effectively with signals. Please note that Signal Forms API is currently experimental. Feel free to experiment with, but it's not a good idea to use it in production. So let's get started. Like what I said, we will start small and we will see just the login form component. And here we have just the email field, the password field, and the login button. Very easy one. So let's go now to VS Code to see what this looks like in terms of HTML code. And the only thing that we have here is an email, which is an input. And please note that I'm using material components here. And we also have the password, just another input, and then we'll have just the button. Nice. If we now go to the TS code, the only thing that we have is the login model. And it's important to have the login model here, and the reason is the following. Whenever we have to deal with either template-driven forms or reactive forms or now signal forms, what we have to have in mind is the data structure. In our case, the data structure for this simple case, the login model, is very easy. So we can see here that we have the login model that has the email of type string and password of type string. Nice. Other than the data structure, we also have to have in mind how to keep the state of this kind of form, right? So in our case, to keep the state, we will do that by using a writable signal. And this is it. We have the login model, which is a writable signal of this kind of model with empty strings for both email and password. Currently, we haven't seen anything related to signal forms. So let's create our first form. And I will do the following. Here I would like to have my login form equals, and I will use the form helper function from the Angular Forms Signals package. So let me click enter. So this is a generic type. So we will have here the login form model, and then we'll have the parentheses. The very first argument of the parentheses is that we'll have to provide the writable signal. So we'll have to do this login model, which is our writable signal. And this step is very important, and the reason is that signal forms do not maintain their own data. We are, as developers, responsible to provide a writable signal that the form will be based on. Since we have this step, now let's apply the bindings to our HTML to see how to connect these two together. To do that, we would need to import here one directive, and this will be the field directive. And again, as you can see, this is it from Angular Forms Signals package. And now let's go to the HTML, and I would like to apply a binding into my input field. And I can do that by using the field directive. And similar to reactive forms, we have to provide the path. And the path will be my login form dot email. And I will do the same thing for password. So here I have login form password. Just to make sure that everything works as expected, let's have just an interpolation at the very top of this component. So I will have my login form, and now please note the following. To have the interpolation, I need to grab the state. To grab the state with signal forms, we have to use the parentheses. This is a consistent pattern. Whenever we have to grab the state from any field, either this is the root field or the email field or the password field or whatever field, we have to invoke that to grab the state. And from that state, we can, for example, get the value, and this is what we're going to use here, or we can grab the validity and the touch and stuff like that. So for now, let's just grab the value. And the value here is a signal type, and that's why we have again to invoke that. And let's also have the JSON pipe. Nice. So let's now go to the browser to see what we have. So I have the JSON pipe here, and now let me go back, and it seems that I missed to import the JSON pipe. Nice. And now let's go to the browser to see what we have. All right. So here we have the interpolation, email and password. And now if I start typing, we can see that whatever I'm typing will have the values here into the interpolation, which means that the binding already work just fine, right? So let's continue now. And of course, this is a very easy one, simple case, but despite that, we need to have some validators. So let's add the validators to see how this actually works. To apply the validators, we will do that into the second argument of our form. And the second argument is called the schema. And we're going to have the schema either inline or as predefined. And we will see later what the predefined schema is all about. And for now, we'll start inline. And what we have to provide is just an arrow function. So let me have here the path. So what is this root path? Well, the path means the position of the form field. If we want, for example, to access the email, we have to provide a path. If we want to access the password, again, we have to provide the path. In this case, we are accessing the root form field, and that's why we have here the root path. Into that inline schema, I would like now to use some predefined validators, and this will be, for example, the required one. And please note that, again, this required predefined validator is part of the Angular Forms signals. And now I have to provide here just the path of the field that I would like to mark as required. And this is my root path.email. And I will do the same thing now for password as well. Password here. And you know what? What I also need to have is just to make sure that my email will follow a specific pattern. And I will use the email predefined validator from the same package, just to make sure that whatever I'm typing is aligned with the pattern that the Angular team decided to have behind the email predefined validator. Nice. So let's now go.
Okay, guys,
And now
I missed.
path. A very easy one, simple case, but despite that, we need to have some validators. So let's add the validators to see how this actually works. To apply the validators, we will do that into the second argument of our form. And the second argument is called the schema. And we're going to have the schema either inline or as predefined. And we will see later what the predefined schema is all about. And for now, we'll start inline. And what we have to provide is just an arrow function. So let me have here the path. So what is this root path? Well, the path means the position of the form field. If we want, for example, to access the email, we have to provide a path. If we want to access the password, again, we have to provide the path. In this case, we are accessing the root form field, and that's why we have here the root path. Into that inline schema, I would like now to use some predefined validators, and this will be, for example, the required one. And please note that, again, this required predefined validator is part of the Angular Forms signals. And now I have to provide here just the path of the field that I would like to mark as required. And this is my root path.email. And I will do the same thing now for password as well. Password here. And you know what? What I also need to have is just to make sure that my email will follow a specific pattern. And I will use the email predefined validator from the same package, just to make sure that whatever I'm typing is aligned with the pattern that the Angular team decided to have behind the email predefined validator. Nice. So let's now go to the browser to see what we have. The very first observation here is that we have this kind of asterisk, both here and here, which denotes that these fields are currently required. And of course, if I start typing, we can see that we have an indication that the field is invalid, but we do not have any other error message, or the login button is not yet disabled. So let's go back again to VS Code and fix that. What I would like now to fix is the following. Since we have the validators, so let's go to the HTML, and the very first thing thing that I would like to do is to disable the button. So I will use here the disabled. When you're going to have this as disabled, when my login form, I will grab the state is invalid. All right, so very quick look, and it seems that this actually works. Awesome. And now what I would like to do is to apply some error messages. The error messages, I will use the mat error, since I'm using material components, and the message could be something like that. Please enter a valid email address. But you know what? I don't want to have this all the time there. So I have just to apply a condition. And my condition will be, if my login form dot email, I'm grabbing the state, is invalid, and my login form email is touched, then I would like to have this error message. And I will do the same thing for the password just below the input. Nice. So I have here my password whenever this is invalid and touched. So far, this is very similar to reactive forms, right? In terms of validations and in terms of logic. So if we now check the browser, we'll see that perhaps we'll have the error messages. And yeah, we'll have please enter a valid email address. And here we can have something like, please enter a valid password. Nice. Please note that currently under the email, we have two validators, right? And when I say two validators, I mean the following, that we have the required and the email. Wouldn't it be nice to display different messages per invalid validator? So this is what we're going to do. To display the messages, you know what, I will remove this one, and the only thing that I would like to make sure that I have is the touched, and then I will loop over the errors. So let me do that for login form dot email. I'm grabbing the state dot errors. I'm grabbing the state as well. I would like to track, I missed here to have off errors. And I would like now to track my error.kind. And you will understand what this kind is all about. So now, since I'm looping over this kind of errors, let's now apply different error messages. And I will do the following. If my error.kind equals, let's say, required, then I would like to have this error message, email is required. Otherwise, let me copy this and move this up, delete this guy, and here I would like to have my email. So I have two different conditions. The first one is making sure that we will display this error message whenever the kind equals to required, and the other error message is about the validity of the email pattern. So if the error kind equals email, I will display this error message. So let's now go to the browser to see what we actually have. And I will type a wrong email, and we'll have please enter a valid email address. Nice. And if I delete that, I have the email is required, which seems that the condition that we have applied just now works just fine. But you know what? What I don't like that much is that we'll have to revisit this part of the code every time we have a new error message. We can improve that. So let's now go to the TS code and do the following. The required accepts a second argument, and into the second argument I can apply a message, an error message that will be used whenever this validator, this predefined validator, is marked as invalid. So the message in this case will be email is required. Let's do the same thing for the password, like the compiler suggested. And let's do the same thing, sort of the same thing for the email pattern. Please enter a valid email address. Nice. So now we have the error messages into the schema, into the inline schema, where we are providing them declaratively. So let's now go and use that. And you know what? I don't need to have the condition, nor this one. The only thing that I have to have is just dot message, like the compiler suggested. I still iterate over the errors, and the only thing that I'm grabbing is just the error message, no more than that. So now if we go to the browser, we expect to have the same thing. Please enter a valid email address, And if I delete that, we have the email is required. Nice. So how about now if I enter a valid email address, and here I have the password, and you can see that the login button is enabled. Nice. We have already discussed about inline schema or predefined schema. What do we mean by the predefined schema? Well, what I mean is that we are exposing that into a different file. This is something that perhaps we will see in a different video, but for now, other than exposing that into a different file, we can expose that in a different variable name. What I mean is that let me just grab this one, everything that has to do with the second argument, I will cut that. And now let's go here and do the following. I would like to export const what, for example, a login form schema, and I will use the schema. And please note that this is under Angular Form Signals package. This is a generic type of my login form model. And what it accepts is an arrow function. So I will paste that here, the thing that I just moved from the second argument of my form. So let me go up. So this is what I have, my login form schema. And now let's grab that and use that as a second argument. So it seems now that the login form is already much cleaner, and we can reason about, since we have only and use from form model. Please note that this is under Angular form signals package. This is a generic type of my login form model. And what it accepts is an arrow function. So I will paste that here, the thing that I just moved from the second argument of my form. So let me go up. So this is what I have, my login form schema. And now let's grab that and use that as a second argument. So it seems now that the login form is already much cleaner, and we can reason about, since we have only two things, my login model and the login form schema. Please stay tuned, and very soon I will provide a video explaining how to use schemas. So we are already done with the login. What is missing is to submit the data, right? So let's go there and try to submit it. So I will go to my login component, and into my form, here what I will have is just a click event or submit event, and I will have my submit form, something like that. So let me now go here, and I will introduce this submit form. So under the submit form, which is the event handler, what I would like to do is to utilize a helper function. The submit helper function, which again is under Angular form signals package. So the submit that accepts two arguments. The very first thing is that it accepts is our actual login form, which is the form that we have just created here. And the second argument is the action handler. And in the action handler, we can return either undefined or custom error. If we return undefined, it means that everything works just fine. Otherwise, we return the error. So let's do that. So I will have here just my arrow function. And please note that this arrow function will be invoked only when the form is, let's say, valid. And we can move on to the API. This is something like a green signal that, you know what, go there, your data are valid based on the validators and the logic that you have applied, and you can invoke your API. Nice. So what I can do now, I will have just my try catch. I will have here my catch. I will grab the error, and into the try block, I can return undefined. Undefined, which means that everything works as expected. Otherwise, into the catch block, I can return a custom error. So I will return just a custom error, and this guy accepts a message, and I can be like, an unexpected error occurred, please try again later. And I can even provide just a kind, unexpected error, whatever you'd like. Whatever you'd like, and this custom error can then be handled by the login component based on this kind to display the error message. But you know what? For now, let's just remove that and keep it as is. All right, so let's now continue. And what we can see here is that we have an error, and it says that the type undefined is not assignable to type promise. All right, so let's have that just as an async. And then what we can do here is to invoke actually the API. I already have a login service, so let me just use that here. I will inject that. This will be my private login service, inject login service. And the only thing that I would like to do is just to await. I will use my first value from to convert an RxJS to promise. I will have the login service dot login, and I will provide here my form. I will grab the state value, and I will grab the state as well. Nice. So if everything are okay, then we will return undefined to promise login service. And the only thing that I would like to do is just to await. I will use my first value from to convert an RxJS to promise. I will have the login service dot login, and I will provide here my form. I will grab the state value, and I will grab the state as well. Nice. So if everything are okay, then we will return undefined, otherwise a custom error. So let's now go to this login and make it successful all the time. So I will delete this guy and I will return just true after 4 seconds. And why is that? This is an artificial delay. And what I would like to highlight here is that by utilizing the submit helper function, after go to this login and nice. So if everything are okay, then we will return undefined, otherwise a custom error. So let's now go to this login and make it successful all the time. So I will delete this guy and I will return just true after 4 seconds. Why is that? This is an artificial delay. And what I would like to highlight here is that by utilizing the submit helper function, of course, we have the door open for the Angular team to provide more and additional functionality. But other than that, for now, what we can do is to go into my login component and, for example, to disable the button when my login form submitting, which is a very nice, and you know what, this should be or instead, and this is a very nice status. So you can, of course, either disable the button or you can provide a very nice loading indicator that something is happening. So let's now go to the browser to see what we have. So I will provide here, oops, it seems that I used the wrong event. So let me go back again to VS Code. Let's go up to see where my problem is. Yeah, of course, I have to have here the submit and not the click event. So again, let's go back to the form and start and doing the following thing. I would like here to have my email, and then I will have a valid email address. And please note that this is currently enabled. We expect, if we click the login button, to have, based on the artificial delay, to be disabled for 4 seconds. So let me click login, and yeah, this is actually disabled, which means that it's actually submitting. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. Signal Forms is an amazing API, and please expect from me to provide more videos about the Signal Forms, so stay tuned. Till then, please do not forget to subscribe and click
like snow.
At least, I'm blessed, honestly, to be able to pay taxes, because that means that I'm blessed to be able to make money. So I got to look at the positive side of it. At least I made that money better than... What was I going to talk to y'all about?
So let's see how we can do forms. Post returns a token, which is a string. Create the component, our plugin, inject form builder. Form builder comes from Angular Forms. Auth inject from auth service. Okay. Route inject router. Loading. Okay. Error. Form this dot fb form builder group email. Validators dot required validators dot email submit. If return this dot loading to set true, this dot it's more or less very similar using the Angular form build. It's it's simple. Yeah, ever call this like the middleware type share or some auth. This dot auth the login. So auth is the service. This is the login. This is the form the value. The subscribe, passing an object next. Logo storage set. So if we get a next, then we successful. If we don't, then that was an error, because if we come and check here, it's just a normal function. Okay, you can hit the subscribe. I didn't know that, but yeah, it's cool. That look good actually. It looks good. Looks good. Login template best practice UI. ng submit. Okay, that's the function that we are calling for that one. Form group form, so this form, so yeah, then email, form control name, so you pass in a form control name. It's cool. Form control name with Angular signals. I saw that it's a little bit different. Yeah, you do a direct like Angular input. I cannot remember. Okay, guys, let's finish up where we started actually. Okay, so we're doing this. I want to, when I click one of these, it takes me to an individual page for a product page. So I'm going to create a new page for that. ng generate component. What the components or what the pages? Actually, it don't really matter. Just do a component and then you do from pages. Are they like? No, I cannot remember. I cannot remember. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just, yeah. It is like a component. Actually, there's no difference. So Angular generate component pages, and then I'm going to generate product, because what we have currently, we have a cart, my wishlist. Okay, guys, I'm back. Let me lift some weights. I have some weights in here, so it will help me build some muscle, man. Guys, let's go. So we generate the product page. First thing that we're gonna do, go to the product. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna say export default. Okay, yeah, I'm going to get rid of some of these. So just go after them when we need them. So once we have that, we're going to go to the routes and we're going to set a new route. Okay, so it's going to be very similar to this one. Why? Because it's going to be product, and then we're going to pass in the product ID, product, like so. Then we pass in the product ID, like so. And then from here we're going to change it a little bit. So we're going to say products, pages product, like so. We don't put the .ts right there because it will invite directly. So now we have a new page. That's right. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the components, and we're going to go and because we want to do this navigation, and yeah, so we have to go to the products, and then we're going to product card. Then what we can do is we're going to import router link, yeah, product data. All imports are in use here, we know that. And then we're gonna come here. Okay, I'm gonna do some few things, some few styling. I'll say hover opacity. I'm gonna do an opacity of 80. Then for the title, I'm gonna say hover underline offset. I'm gonna set it to 2. Then I'm gonna come here and say click. Now I'm gonna just say, first off, let's do cursor pointer, same thing to here, pointer. Then we're going to router link. Is that how you used to do it? Router link, like so. Then we're going to say product, come on, product data, we call the function. Oh my goodness, I don't know if that's how you do it, but so it says unexpected token. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. What is that? Then I'm gonna do plus. Can I use these ones? I'm not sure. Product, probably not. Probably like this. Yep, I don't see it complaining. So we're gonna say product. Then we're gonna say is that gonna work? I don't think so. Like so, I'm a hope so. Product data dot ID. I don't know. If it works, it works, man. Oh, ha! It actually does work, but there's a problem with the thing out there. Oh, you can actually do this. You can do that. Supposedly, I think so. Okay, load for me my items. No. I don't know how to correctly do this actually. I don't know how to correctly do this. How do I correctly do this? I do this correctly. Yep. Oh, I never told you the router link. Yeah. Best practice is to. Oh. Oh, I forgot about this one. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot, man. I forgot, man. Yeah, I remember there was something like that. Then I forgot. But it's cool. I remember. So you say do I gotta do the slashes here? Product, then product data, the ID, like so. Okay, makes more sense now. Makes more sense. I need to add loaders. Yeah, that's how we do it, man. That's how we do it, bro. The power of whenever you're learning, you want to be doing a project, so it's easy for you to do things that you normally do in real life. Don't just binge watching a tutorial. It doesn't do anything for you. So we have that product page. So the first thing that we're going to do in the product page is we're going to try and extract. We're going to try and get the path param, so the ID of the product, so we can fetch the individual product. So how do we do that? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say product ID is going to be equals to router. So we're going to say our router activated router is equals to, we're going to inject the router. I like Angular. Inject activated route. Let's say, oh come on, we're going to do the JavaScript magic. Router dot snapshot dot paramap dot get, then we're going to say product ID. It is possibly null. How do I handle the possibility of null? I know you're saying it's JavaScript, I can possibly do an OR, but I want to know how you actually do it in here. So What? Okay. Took a little minute, right? Yeah. Let's see if we actually extract it correctly. Yeah, we do extract it correctly, which is cool. Then you know what we're gonna do next? Aha. So I'm going to go to category service and I'm going to get I'm going to create a new service. ng generate service services, then we will call it product. Okay, so services. Okay, so just come here. This one, we're going to check out the docs. Then we go to products. So it's slash products, and then we're going to have get single product by ID. I'm going to say fetch. Product ID. Return this get. Then we're going to return is product. Products. So I'm going to say where else are we rendering products? The product grid. What's this? Product data. Signal. Okay, let me just get some insights. of how I could structure this one. So do I store the data in the signal? So it's just going to lay out everything for me, I believe. I think I'm seeing the reason why people have Angular. It's so structured. It's so structured. You just have this is how you do it, and that's how everyone does it. So it's like very structured. It's good. It's good for everyone. Yeah, it's good for everyone. I feel like it's good for you. It's good for me. It's good for all of us. It's good for you. It's good for me. It's good for all of us. Yeah, guys, don't worry what I'm doing right now. Actually, let me get my phone charged. It's the 1st of December. Guys, how's the holidays coming along? The best practice for loading API data into a signal in Angular 16 to 19. I've done that. Fetch from API and set the value using either subscribe or to signal. Industry standard simple subscribe. So we use the constructor as we used earlier, and option B, convertible. Dun, 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 dun. To signal, okay. Okay. Okay, I think I remember how we do this, okay? No. Okay. So we get rid of this signal up here. Then we say to signal from RxJS. Then we say this. Initial value. I just keep on see, get rid from this from Angular core. Okay, so the signal, this .api. Is it nice how we say things working? Is it nice? Yep, now it actually does work, which is very interesting. This is a page, so I'm gonna go to like the home page. I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna come here, product page, paste that, main, product data. It's a signal. Product data is a signal. Okay. Your I don't think it even matters because I can see we have everything. I guess there must be an issue with the way it tagged this fetch signal. No, actually it's using iProduct. iProduct, yes. So yep. I don't know, maybe the language server is broken. Yeah, it might have been broken actually. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to use I'm just doing an if. So give me an option of using computed. So I'm still trying to understand it. So it's going to say computed. What does computed do? Let's see. Creates a computed signal which derives a reactive value from an expression. So with the button, what do? We could do that button, but we could also okay. See how we do buttons here. Field mat buttons mat button is equal field like that, and then you have to import mat button here like so. Then we have it remain so what I can do is that product price so I could probably do a new component here, ng generate components products, then we're going to call it details. Okay, So product details are going to say product input I product input. Okay. Product data. Let me just keep it consistent. Button. Yeah, simple as that. Okay. How many days have been using Angular? Probably like a week. I've been doing it for a very long time, so probably 4 or 5 days. I started learning was it on Friday? I think Friday or something, around Friday, Thursday, Friday. That's when I started playing around with it. So yeah, so once we have that, we already doing the data fetch. Then I'm going to do like a new component for related products. So ng generate components. I'm going to say products related product list. Okay. Yep. Then we're going to import it here, related product list, like so. Then we're gonna go here, up related product list, category ID, current product ID, product ID, so we're also going to do this fetching. So I'm just gonna do that product So the path param is not is updating, but the data is not updating. Is updating, but the data is not refreshing for the newly selected product. So what do? I'm just give it the code, and then I'm finna wait for suggestions. What is finna tell me? Because of the snapshot, I actually thought, so we need to subscribe. Okay, we need to use the subscribe instead. Subscribe and use computed. Yeah, because I've used computed and it seems to work okay. I would like to use the one with computed. Okay, let's just find a way. So we need to bring switch map from RxJS. Probably need to import this map from RxJS. Okay, this one is just not getting it right, so I'm gonna try to use Grok. No, should I use Gemini because this is their framework? Probably Gemini will get it right? I think so, I hope so, but we're not gonna use fast, we're gonna use the thinking. Why? The thinking will probably do some web searches and give us the best answer. Let's just see what Grok does. Okay, I've seen what this one does. Is okay for me. I think if the one for Grok works, then I'm gonna say Grok is the king for real. Isn't this like a little too much to do for? Okay, so oh my guy, that's crazy. So this one works, as you can see, and it works for the better, for the better, for the better. You're doing the battle. Okay, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, man. It doesn't work, man. It doesn't work, man. It doesn't work, man. Still, it doesn't work. Still, it doesn't work, man. Wait, so I don't know what's happening, but the thing is not running. Every single time we do the or is it not running? You see, it's already 12, and we have a class of what? Guys. Guys, I'm gonna see you later. I don't know what's wrong with this one. It's just not doing anything. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, hey. See you, class. Yeah. Nikaanza kwenda sahi. Okay. Adios.